Hello and welcome to SeahawkTalk on Monday, April 27. We are in week 5. As we always start out our week with our Director of Athletics, Jody Moradian. She's in queue right now. We'll get her up shortly, but let's go to our graphic for Seahawk Talk to show the full lineup for Monday, April 27. Jody Moradian, Director of Athletics. Katie Doherty from our women's lacrosse team. Eric Sorella, head coach of baseball. And our 3 Seahawk seniors on South Virginia softball, Karina Bushy, Ali Guzmano, and Maddie Machado. I'm Ed Habishaw, by the way. And right now we're going to show Jody Moradian. Hello, Jody. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. We had mixed weather this weekend. My favorite day, and perhaps your favorite day, was Saturday.
Right.
It got me out on the road with my wife. We went up to traveled to Newport, and when we came back, the weather was still nice. My son had gone to work during the day. He works at a not a fast food restaurant, but a Chinese restaurant where he's packing to-go orders.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. He got a job.
And sometimes he's delivering. And when he delivers, he uses his hardtop vehicle, which is a Nissan Altima, which left the soft top vehicle in the driveway on such a gorgeous day. Lynn and I put the top down and went for a nice drive with our masks on.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful Saturday, and it is funny. You think how many games we would have been at if we'd been there. And it comes up on my calendar, and it always say where we would be. But then yesterday, when it rained so hard, it was fine. We wouldn't have had a game.
The grass was very happy yesterday.
The grass, it's definitely April showers, spring May flowers. Let's hope it all comes out nice in the end.
And May is right around the corner.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
We would have been in the final week or weekend of the regular season just this past weekend. And actually, I think we were starting postseason competition for some of our sports.
Yep. And it's hard to believe that Sunday would have been our Seahawk celebration.
Coming up. Yeah, just a week from yesterday would have been May 3. It will be May 3. And
it still will.
Yes, it still will. And, I mean, this past week, I think about Andrew Pizzelli, Jody. I don't know if you know, and certainly I am sure our listeners don't know, he's never been on an airplane before, flown on an airplane. He may have been in the cockpit, or he may have taken a tour on a plane before, but he was scheduled to take a trip with our men's rugby team to the national championships in California, which would have been his very first time in flight as a Seahawk, and forget about the Gulls, but that got denied. So even that experience got pushed back for somebody that we all know and love.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting when you go through the levels of people that are affected, and everybody's affected, obviously. And for the men's rugby team who was playing for a national championship, what a sad thing for them, but at least they know they play at that level. So they missed that, and then Andrew was going to be able to broadcast the men's rugby games, which the whole thing would have been so special. So I guess they'll have to do it again next year.
Right. And while he would have been away, I am certain I would have had some fun duties back here, because both of our lacrosse programs, which he typically covers, we're probably going to head towards a home playoff game.
Yeah.
So I would have had a home doubleheader back here, and I think we had a baseball team or with a regularly scheduled home game. So we would have been busy. So
So with every sad, bad part, at least we got to be out in the sun.
So what Andrew's been doing in the interim has been very helpful for all of us. And I'm going to show on screen some samples of the social media that he and our fellow staff members have been working to produce. Andrew finishes the final graphics, but he works with members of our athletic training staff and other areas in the department to get input on what is essential, what is needed for our students and our audience out there in terms of staying well during this pandemic.
Yeah.
New hobbies. Have you picked up any new hobbies over the break?
No, I actually haven't. I have played ping pong though, because there's a ping pong table in the basement, so we have done that. But otherwise, just keeping up with all the news and been able to read a little bit more. But I wish I was too busy at games to do anything.
I know. The remarkable thing is that we're shut down, but I think you did a wonderful job of scheduling for our weekly staff meeting.
Yeah.
And today's input could have been no better than having Megan D. Carvalho and her staff at our mental health counseling services really giving us a good session as a group. They told us it was the largest group that they're used to seeing in a Zoom setting or in a WebEx setting, but it was so wonderful for us.
Yeah, I think it's really important because every level of this affects people in many of the same ways, and then there are little differences. But Salve has so many people that care. I mean, that's the real message that comes through with Salve. But Megan and her staff in counseling, obviously they work with the students, but they are so able to help everyone. So I wanted the coaches to hear from them because the coaches are really the first line with our student athletes. Our coaches have been talking to the entire team through Zoom or WebEx at least once or twice a week, and then individually many times a week. And student athletes reach out to them. But our coaches are facing all sorts of interesting issues themselves. They're home, some of them have children they're taking care of. They still need to do their work. They're still trying to recruit. So they have all sorts of things going on, and they're trying to help and ease the burden for our student athletes. So that group, the counseling group, just gave some really good tips and really put it in perspective. So nobody is going through this alone because everybody's faced with the same things, and we all have uncertainties. We don't know what's going to happen. So it was really important for all of us to be together to hear that.
It really was, and our coaches shared some of their feedback that they're getting from their student athletes, which includes, hey, we have these regular Zoom meetings, and perhaps it's the group mentality, and everybody says, yeah, everything's okay. When we know deep down inside, even for ourselves, it's not always okay, and guess what? It's okay not to be okay.
Right, and sometimes that's the real message. Be kind to yourself, trying to think, you have to take care of 5 things. Everything isn't the way it was. We don't know when it will be the way it was. And for our student athletes, they lost so much, but then we forget, so did our coaches.
Yeah.
Like, they were walking off the field at the same time that they heard the seasons were done. So we have all our spring coaches, all the coaches who had put so much time and effort into this group. And as you just said, those spring teams were doing really well.
Yeah.
And so it's not just the students that had everything snatched away, but it's the entire staff. And so that was the good thing. I guess we have probably like 35, 40 people on that call, and each one of them needed to hear it, and they each needed to hear it about different things.
Yeah, and the best message that resonates with me was when Megan D. Carvalho said, it's okay to be human.
Yeah.
Let them know that you are human and that you get sad, you get mad, you get angry. Little things can upset you. Our coaches are at their best when they're in control. But this whole pandemic has created for everybody here, there is no control. We have no control over what's going on pandemic-wise, and we don't know what's going to happen from day to day.
No, and that's the real key is I think our coaches think they usually have the answers. So that's their role. Like student athletes come to them, or assistant coaches come to them. Everybody wants to know, and that's what a coach does. She knows, and they tell people what to do. And right now, they don't have the answers. And I think students, even from what the coaches were saying, they also want to be pleasant and put forward a
positive
that I'm doing fine, but yet none of us are totally fine, and that everybody has moments because it's hard to believe that we're in this situation. So one of the things that I thought their staff said that was really important is really what can you control, what can you plan, that's the only thing you can do. You can control if today you want to work out. You can, if you want to write your paper for class, but you can't control the date will come back or anything like that because none of us know. So, yeah, I think it was really a nice presentation and certainly needed by everyone.
And even when we do come back, which we will someday.
We will be back.
But we just don't know how different it will be coming back. Mm-hmm. And I can remember when you invited Captain Mark Turner in for our Seahawk Academy, both in the fall and the winter sessions. He gave his experience on what happened around him on 9/11 in 2001 and how you never know. Mm-hmm. You never wake up on that day and say, oh, something incredible is going to happen today. You just got to take every day one day at a time. I know it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason.
Yeah, and one of the things actually that he said to our student athletes was that at that time of crisis on 9/11, when people had never lived through that and people were, injured and so much going on, it was the young people that stood up and led them out of it. And our student athletes, they are trying to help us too by being positive and reaching out and all the small things that they can do for us. But that was one of his messages. It really is. And you think about all this technology we're using now. You and I are obviously very good at it, but really it's
one day at a time.
But they're the ones that are the quick ones to do Zoom or TikTok, whatever they do. Like there's a lot of things we're learning from them right now that I appreciate.
I'm learning about TikTok. How about you?
I'm not going there. I've got Instagram down pretty well.
All right. Good for you. Well, like Captain Mark Turner did say, our leadership can come from anywhere. You never know. It can be the seniors on our teams. It can be the freshmen on our teams. And we'll take it from wherever we get it. We're very happy to have leadership from Jody Moradian and look forward to having you on the show every Monday at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoy it. It's great.
Well, good seeing you again, and we'll look forward to talking to you during the week. I know we were going to perhaps touch briefly on our Seahawk Awards. I know our coaches and our Student Athlete Advisory Committee are involved in the nominating process for our Seahawk Awards because we want to finish this year as we normally do, recognizing the outstanding achievements in Seahawk athletics.
Right. And we know we'll have a time when we're together to celebrate. But we had so many great things happen this year. And that ceremony, well, obviously it's such a nice culmination of the whole year. So we're going forward and everybody will be able to participate. Student athletes are already involved. And that's going to be something for everybody to have. That's a high note.
In the positive news, there'll be no conflicts. No games will be conflicting with our ceremony.
Yeah, we won't have to have teams running in their uniforms because they just came from a conference game. But
we'll allow it, but we won't.
Yes,
we won't expect it.
Right, the dress code will be different this year.
Well, good seeing you again on Monday, and we'll look forward to talking to you during the week and as well as next week at 3 o'clock.
Right, take care, everybody.
See you, Jody.
Bye-bye.
That's Jody Moradian, the Director of Athletics for Salve Virginia University. I'm Ed Habishaw. We'll be going to a leader on our women's lacrosse team. Her name is Katie Doherty. Stick with us.
Minute to go of shorthanded time. Doherty with an angle right to the goal and a shot, and she scores shorthanded.
Good. I actually just forgot to unmute myself, but thank you for joining us on today's show. The goal we just saw was you scoring shorthanded at Godet Field, I believe, and you gave the Seahawks a nice shorthanded goal there.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, thank you for joining us on the 3:15 portion of our Monday program. We are usually joined by our head coach, Bill Villarreal. We're giving him 2 weeks off here because last week we had Maddie Villarreal, and now we have you. Both are captains. You are a junior captain. What are you studying at Salve?
I'm a marketing major.
What are your aspirations with that marketing degree?
I haven't really figured that out entirely yet. I really like social media, so maybe something with that, the digital marketing aspect of it too.
Have you been involved in any of the Instagram takeovers for Salve Virginia Women's Lacrosse?
The lacrosse Instagram is actually run by the captains. A couple of postings on that. I run those, post those.
Got a little bit of a breakup in your signal here, and I don't know if you're getting it on your end as well from me, but you were talking about you were running the Instagram as a captain.
Yeah, the captains run the Instagram, so we post the stories, and on different days we do different fun little things like Freshman Friday, Teammate Appreciation Tuesday, stuff like that.
Nice. Your junior season was cut short. We know that. But what was the process and how did it come about and how did you feel when you were selected one of the captains for the 2020 season?
I was really honored to be picked as a captain as a junior. I got to lead by 3 great seniors, Maddie Villarreal, Gabby Majensky, and Steph Salisbury. They're awesome, and I was really happy that I could contribute to that leadership. Both my freshman and sophomore year, I had great captains who I looked up to and respected, and I always wanted to be in that position where I could be the leader on the team and help out the underclassmen and kind of be that light for them.
Now, you had experience being a captain in your high school days. Talk about what happened there at Portsmouth Abbey.
So at Portsmouth Abbey, I played field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse.
3 sports.
And yeah, my senior year, I had the privilege of being the captain of all 3 teams.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome. A lot of the girls played similar sports, but at the same time, I was a captain to different groups, and it was a lot of fun.
Now, your senior year, you're captaining all 3 sports. You're showing leadership skills. Did you want to go away to school, or were you very comfortable staying close to home? In terms of Salve, Regina.
Sorry, it broke up.
Sorry.
I just broke up.
Okay, we're talking about how you decided you were going to come to Salve, Regina. Were you looking elsewhere far away, or did you prefer to stay close to home?
I've always been a homebody, so I definitely wanted to stay close to home. New England schools were always big for me. I actually didn't apply to Salve until pretty late because it's only 20 minutes from my house, so I was like, no, that's too close. But it ended up just being a perfect fit for me, and obviously really happy I made that decision. I love Salve.
What was it like walking onto the field the very first time as a freshman?
It was really nerve-wracking. I remember my coach called me into his office the day of our first game and told me I would be starting, and I was definitely pretty nervous playing with all the older girls in my first college game, but you just gotta kind of take the first 30 seconds of that game, get it all out, and then keep your head on straight from there.
You've become an important part of the offensive attack for the Seahawks, and when you stepped in, you were also joining forces with one of your former teammates in Maddie Villarreal. The 2 of you together are a dynamic scoring tandem. Talk about how you help offset the pressure that is applied on her.
So Maddie and I'm a left-handed player, and Maddie's a right-handed player, so we're on either side of the net behind the goal. And at first, my freshman year, a lot of the pressure was put on Maddie because she did a lot of the crease rolls from the right. And I don't think the other teams really knew that we had this left-hander. So oftentimes, people would leave me to double her if she was driving to the net, which would leave me wide open right in front of the net. And then if they picked up on that, they would double me and I could pass to her. So we definitely work well together and can kind of read what each other are trying to do and pick up on it.
That's cool. Katie, talk about the teamwork aspect of lacrosse. We showed in that goal that you scored in the opening of this segment that you have the ability to create space for yourself and score, and that was in a shorthanded situation. Talk about how working as a team can make it even easier for scoring goals.
Yeah, definitely lacrosse is a huge team sport. It starts with our goal of making a save and getting it up to our defensemen who are pushing the ball forward. Our midfielders, they run up and down that field so much, and they get onto us. It's a lot of passing and setting picks for each other. And, when one of us scores, we all get so excited because it's not just that one person that did it. It's everybody who contributed to that.
Well, I know the Doherty family, is big on ice hockey. Talk about your siblings who either play ice hockey or are involved with other programs.
Yeah, so my older brother Tim played Division I hockey at University of Maine. He had a great 4 years there, and he actually has a fifth year of eligibility. So he's going to play at Penn State next year and get his master's degree there.
Good for
So
him.
we're really excited for him. And then my little brother Trev is actually really involved in the athletic community at Salve, which I'm so grateful to those teams who have taken him under their wing and just kind of made him a part of their family. You know, the men's ice hockey team and the men's lacrosse team have just been so great with him, and he thinks of all of them as brothers, and that's just awesome.
That's great. Well, that's another reason why it was good that you stayed close to home as well. So now you can be close to Trevor and get home on game days. How's he handling the pandemic and learning from home?
Honestly, he loves it. He loves that both my older brother and I are home with him. He doesn't have to change out of his pajamas. He's loving it so far.
Well, thank you for joining us on this Monday segment of Seahawk Talk in the women's lacrosse spot at 3:15. You're looking good there in Portsmouth. We want to get you 20 minutes away, back on campus as soon as possible so that you can be playing the sports you love.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Good seeing you. Take care, Katie.
Thanks, you too.
That's Katie Doherty of our women's lacrosse team, a junior captain, along with 3 other seniors. I'm Ed Habishaw. We'll be coming back after a break and talking with Eric Sorella, our head baseball coach. Stay with us. Welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Monday, April 27, in what would have been the final week of regular season competition. Those are the games that are still left on our schedule. We've preserved as much of our schedule as possible, Eric, but postseason isn't up there, obviously. But baseball typically goes the longest of any of our sports, and your regular season was finishing up this week, and now we've got you on our sports talk show. We didn't remove any of the regular season schedule from Presto, but it does make it depressing when you go check out our athletics website and you see these games up there, but they're not being played. There you go.
We would have had Clark and Gordon this weekend, Senior Day Saturday, which Saturday was beautiful, I believe.
Yes.
I think. I forget what day we're currently in, but Sunday not so nice at Clark, or home against Clark, and then we'd be playing Worcester State tomorrow, another beautiful day. So I never think about that. I don't know why you brought it up.
You really can't, and I think we should take the tips from our folks in the mental health services this morning when they were on with our full staff meeting. It was really wonderful to hear from them and get their thoughts on, for us, just encouraging us to be human, to show our emotions that we're truly feeling and not bottle it up and say,
Serenity now.
Serenity now. So just be exactly as you are if an umpire makes that bad call out on the field.
That's what I always try to do. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and you generally, if you encounter me and have a conversation, you're going to know pretty much how I'm feeling.
Yeah, you're not beating around the bush, right? You
Right.
are very more than direct.
Right. That's some call it a good thing. Sometimes it's a curse.
Well, we're in week 5 of Seahawk Talk, and the good thing was that we've had you in the odd-numbered weeks. And in the even-numbered weeks, you had Patrick Maybach substitute for you, and then followed him with Dylan Ketch. Those are 2 great guests. We're very happy to learn that both Patrick and Dylan are returning as athletes for a 5th year, not only based on this pandemic, but they were planning on doing that academically anyway.
Right.
Either as a grad student or at finishing up their undergraduate studies. Talk about what that means for you and your program as you look ahead to 2021.
Well, they're both, outstanding baseball players. They are leaders, and they've been captains, and have seen the program, from really the beginning stages of the facilities and the build-up and stuff like that. And they've both been a part of 3 conference championships and 2 conference championship victories, as well as 2 NCAA appearances. But both are good friends and, competitors. They're as good as it gets, at this level, collectively in their own positions. And it would have been terrible to see them, with what they've done their first 3 years, have to go out, only playing 4 games. So we're lucky to have them back, and it's certainly going to help a younger team just with having as many older guys and as many leaders and as many guys who have played in big games against good competition as possible.
With Dylan on last week, he spoke candidly about all 3 championship series that he was involved in. Freshman year, called it the greatest team he's ever played on, with a lot of experience on that squad. And he brushed over the middle season, his sophomore season. But last year, coming out of nowhere as the number 4 seed and really surprising a lot of people, winning 6 must-win games, brink of elimination games, and taking that, and both Patrick and Dylan were a big part of that.
Yeah, and I think we weren't your typical 4 seed, and that's what the other coaches in the conference would say, is that we lost Pat for 5 or 6 starts there from the end of March to the beginning of May, and Andrew Roman was out. We just had a number of key guys go down, and once one of your top arms goes down, then everybody else kind of has to shuffle up, and it can affect you in the middle of the week. But it just, we're obviously better than a 4 seed because we had, finishing first the previous 2 years. But you still have to go out and beat the team that, beat you earlier in the playoffs, and then the team that beat you the year before in the playoffs. And I think that was probably the most fun part is, we were just able to get healthy and play good baseball for a few weeks. I mean, even Zach Smith had 6 or 7 stitches in his finger. He had to come out of game 1 against Curry, and we ended up losing to them. So you're sitting there like, man, we are just beat up at the worst possible time. And as luck would have it, it all kind of came together for us when it did.
It may be luck, but in many respects, Eric, I think a coach like yourself ends up doing his best job in that situation, because there's more than just managing great talent. You had to really plan and look ahead. Okay, if we can get Pat back by this date, I think we're in good shape. And you had to make some decisions there too.
Right. I think that was, and I give a lot of credit to Will Ginsberg and even Michael Matthews and some of our older guys, because, after losing the first game to Nichols, it would have been real. I see so many coaches going to the playoffs and I'm playing to win the whole thing. I'm not playing to advance as far as we can. So if we see a way or an avenue that can allow us to win the tournament, which to me is the goal, because if you don't finish first, you're going home anyway. It doesn't matter if you finish 6th or you finish 2nd. But we came back after losing a game with a freshman in Zach Lopez, where, I think a lot of coaches would have just thrown their senior out there and said, hey, this could be your last start, enjoy it. But Will understood that, and Michael understood that, and, that's really important for them to kind of keep the team camaraderie behind what we were trying to do. And as we continue to win a game here, win a game there, and finally get Will the ball and then get Pat the ball, the pieces kind of fell into place. And I will say it was eerily similar to 2016 in a sense, where, we got beat by Endicott after beating Nichols, and there was some rainouts, and it was Jimmy Fitzgerald's time to go. Yep. But I said, Jimmy, I know this is your start, but, I'm going to let Brett Wilkes, who I think was a freshman at the time, and Will Ginsberg, who was a freshman at the time, I said, I need them to step up and win this game so that you can go on and beat Western New England tomorrow, and then we'll go back with our, 1 and 2, which was Corey Poplawski and Billy Humes against Endicott, and that played out well. But it's just kind of funny how it works out.
So experience in must-win games comes through.
Sure.
We're showing on screen right now the team holding the championship banner and plaque after capturing another title in 2019 at Roger Williams. Eric, where is recruiting now for you for 2021?
We have a great list. Coach McKeon has made contact with a lot of our top guys. We were fortunate to be kind of ahead of the curve and have some communication with, our what we consider to be our top tier recruits in the 2021 class. We had a few visit us over the winter. A couple of them came to practices over the winter just to, get in here and in case they wanted to make a decision early. So I think that we're ahead of a lot of schools that we're competing with, but it's really going to be tricky to see how this all plays out. Just like college kids are getting an extra year, essentially, if you are financially able to, or get some sort of athletic need to go to do a postgraduate year or go to a prep school or something like that, I could see a lot of kids doing that. So I guess we can't really predict that. We're just going to continue to do what we do and sell, the university and sell kids on what we do as a team and the success that we've had, and hope that, we can continue to get talented kids who, want to work hard and want to wear the blue and green.
And how are you doing, let's be honest, without having that control of what's going to happen next?
It's tough because I'm so accustomed to having the answers or having, something to say and to know what's going to happen in the foreseeable future, and I just don't. So, yeah, it's really uncharted territory, but you can look at it like, you can let it control you, or you can look at it like, listen, everybody's kind of in the same boat here,
Yeah.
so we're just going to make the best of it and do what we can, when we come out of this thing. So hopefully, I just think if you keep a positive mindset about the things that you can't control, then you're going to be better off in the long run. And that wasn't always the case, as a younger coach. You let things that you can't control bother you, and it's just an important lesson to learn, whether you learn it when you're 18 or you learn it when you're 35.
And it's a great lesson that you can also share with your players, both young and old.
Sure. That's what baseball teaches you. You can hit the ball as hard as anybody, and you could be out. The bloopers fall in sometimes. Bad calls happen. I mean, you can't let the things you can't control, dictate how you act.
Well, we will look forward to talking to you next week, or perhaps another young player. And thank you for taking some time with us on Monday, April 27th.
Thanks for having me, Ed.
Take
Good
care.
luck with the softball. All right.
Thank
See
you. That's Eric Sorella, South Virginia University head baseball coach, and we'll be back with a recorded interview with our South Virginia softball seniors, Ali Guzmano, Karina Bushy, and Maddie Machado. Stay with us.
Cameron loves me.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Monday, April 27th. We're going to finish today's segment with a recorded interview because two of our senior members of our softball team, Ali Guzmano and Karina Bushy, are nursing majors. They're currently in a 2-hour clinical, online of course, and I've got to put my hat on for this one because I got to represent Seahawk softball! Here we go! Welcome, Ali, Karina, and Maddie. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
You.
Very good. It's a good Monday morning as we are recording this. What has life been like for you guys since we last saw each other in person on Wednesday, March 11th? I mean, I was hours away from getting in a car and driving down to Florida. And I know you guys were excited about flying out later that week, but what has everything been like for you guys?
It's been
crazy. They're just so different, to say the least. I miss everybody, but I mean, I honestly can't even tell you what's been going on.
Yeah, I think we're totally adjusting better now. I know the beginning was really hard. Like, I always make jokes now that, like, I love quarantine. I love it. I like nothing. It's awesome. I hang out with my pets. It's great. But no, the beginning was really tough, and some hits us really hard. That like, oh yeah, we played the last game. We didn't know. But I think our team's been like really good about staying in touch, and I'm sure you guys have seen the TikTok wars that we've been doing. Craziness.
Well, I'd love to actually discover those and add them into this package, because I haven't. I just became recently introduced to TikTok as a user myself, and now I'm going to have to find out what you guys have been up to TikTok-wise.
A-part tip redact. What? A-part tip redact. Scavern. What are you talking? Rapper did Scavern.
I've seen some other social media postings which are wonderful. I love the anonymous shout-outs to all the players on your teams. They're coming from the heart, from each and every one of you guys, and from your fellow teammates. You guys were a big part of bringing in the group that will continue on as softball players. Talk about that process in terms of helping Coach Iaquinto and now Coach Cathius recruiting the Seahawks.
I think that the one thing that Coach is really good with when it comes to recruiting is she really takes into consideration our input. So whenever the girls would come for overnights or for visits, she wanted to make sure that we all had a chance to meet them and get a feel for how we think that they might be in the program, if they're a good fit. We have a very specific culture for our team, and it's very hard to replicate if the person doesn't vibe well with each other. And she really does take in consideration what we think.
Yeah, she definitely tries to preserve the culture that was here before she even started her job here, and then the culture that we've kind of kept up the past 4 years. And I don't know, like, that's important to me, knowing, like, as a senior leaving, especially on such short notice, like, that she brings in people that will preserve that culture. So when we all come back for Alumni Day, we kind of know the team that we're walking into.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, what our coaching staff does, and along with the team, we take overnights and day trips very seriously. Like, if anyone knows, there's a whole itinerary printed out from the moment we wake up to the second we go to bed of, like, what we're doing all day, like, activities with the recruits. Normally we're at Lotta's house, like, bobbing for apples and playing games. And it's a whole day thing, and I think that's really important and special. I don't think a lot of teams do that. Maybe they do, I could be wrong, but it's, like, it's always really fun, and we get to know the recruits really, really well, and they get to know us, and I think that they leave campus the next day or the same day, like, with a really good understanding of what this team is. Get my coffee.
And while Maddie gets her coffee, let me ask Allie and Karina, hey, you guys came in when there was no head coach. You started your freshman season without a head coach. Jen Rosa jumped in and helped out the program and helped bring stability to that. Talk about your very first semester as a Seahawk.
That was a wild ride. Allie and I kind of had different experiences with it because I was a walk-on. And so I was actually emailing the old coach for like the first week on campus because I got word over the summer that I got an opportunity to try out and stuff. And then one day I was in Rogers, and one of the seniors that year, Nikki Bukowski, kind of came in, took me under her wing, and was like, okay, we're still making it work. We don't have a coach right now, but we're going to show you what's up and what's going on. And next thing you know, like, we're creating a team under these 4 seniors. And Coach Iaquinto comes in and just magic stuff starts to happen. It was incredible.
It was definitely wild sitting there in the back of the room, like in the classroom, next to Karina and Emily Porto, and I'm just like, what is going on? And but I still really wanted to give it a try. It's something I really wanted to do, and what the girls had seemed really special, and it was honestly the most incredible decision that I think I've ever made, and I'm very happy that I stuck with it. And Jen Rosa was an absolute hero in the fall that year. She'd be coming out and do practice at Old Topa. She'd be hitting us 21 ounce, we'd be diving everywhere, and everybody was still taking it so incredibly seriously because everybody just wanted to be there and work hard and wanted a chance to do something more, and we were able to do that by the end of the season. We never in my wildest dreams I think I was going to go to the NCAA tournament ever, and we were able to do that, and that's more than I think anyone could ask for.
And that previous group had won a conference championship in 2016. Your four seniors, as you alluded to, helped bring you to another conference championship in 2017. What an incredible ride in Coach Iaquinto's first season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really something. I always look back to that season kind of as a reference point of how everything just worked out, and it felt so good doing it, and we were all having fun, and kind of just use it, not because you can never replicate another season, and that's obviously not the right thing to do, but kind of look back and say, hey, that's a goal that we have. Let's make it like a family. Let's make it so we're all working hard and having fun, and that's how you win a championship, really.
And I think that's the one thing that really carried through our 4 years. We made sure that the team was a consistent family that we had coming in, and with the seniors we had, our captains, making sure that we were all taken care of. We make sure that all of our newbies and all of the new kids coming in are all falling under that same thing. If they need any help, they got a full roster of girls that are waiting to help them out.
And Allie, Karina, Maddie, you were all part of the Topa transformation from an old Topa, as he called it, to the new Topa with the turf and the dugouts, everything.
I never got to experience Old Topa.
Oh,
I feel like I'm missing out a little bit. I miss dirt, but we are just so lucky to have a facility. It's absolutely insane.
Topa had character, but new Topa, fresh.
Yeah,
fresh.
It's like driving a new car down the road, and you just want everyone to turn their heads and look at you.
I was so excited as well, just from a sports information standpoint, to be able to set up my gear, sometimes with a tent, but often not, so that I could have the sunshine on us. But you guys are able to get out on that field as early as February sometimes, and as late as late October, November, depending on your fall ball schedule. Talk about the opportunity to be out in the field versus being in the gym.
It is definitely one that is it's just so awesome, because I remember every year having to wait until late March, early April to really start playing in the dirt and stuff like that. So being able to stay out there longer in the fall and go out there earlier, basically in the winter, really, when we all come back to school, is really just a fantastic opportunity. And I think it helps us a lot. Change of scenery and stuff. The gym can get a little old, as fun as it can be. But no, it's definitely we're so blessed. It's such a great opportunity that we all have.
And I really think it helps when it comes to game time, because there are a lot of teams, I know more and more recently that a lot more teams are installing turf, but a lot of teams don't have that ability to be able to get out and be able to manage the rain, the snow, anything. We're pretty much able to go out rain or shine and get whatever work we need to get done and be incredibly productive. And come game time, there's really no excuse for why we're not really ready, for the exception of maybe it being completely live, but it's an amazing opportunity for us to be able to prepare and so far ahead of time.
I think we're definitely a team that we adapt both to our surroundings and our environments. Like, we can have a productive practice no matter where we are. Like, we really maximize and get most out of our practices. I would say mostly every day. Some days are better than others. But we'll finish a practice inside, and then coach will, this seems okay outside. Let's go to Topa. And then we'll all just freak out and get so excited. Like, there's nothing like playing on the field. Like, as much as we can get them to the gym, it's not like being on Topa. We all get so excited.
And from a readiness standpoint, talk about being at the hot corners for both Allie and Madison in the infield, third base and first base respectively, getting consistent hops, but also the ball gets to you a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely on the turf, you have to learn that the ball will come in way hotter than it will on dirt. At third, it's more of a reaction time at that point. You don't really have enough time to stop and think and worry about if you're gonna mess up a play or not. You just kind of have to see the ball get it and go. But it's like you said, it's definitely more reliable in reading the hops, and you won't get as spooked unless it hits a dead spot in the rubber. But that's about it.
Yeah, I was also going to say, I think that hops are more true on turf. Definitely quicker, but they're more true. Unless, I'm playing shortstop and a ball's hit and it hits the pitcher's mound and it ends up in left field. At that point, there's nothing anybody can really do. But, I mean, when we're inside, we're using softies, and it's so much different. Fielding it, throwing it, everything. So it's definitely, sometimes we'll do a couple runs infield inside, and then we'll go outside, and everyone's like, I don't remember how to play softball. Mm-hmm. But we do what we can do. I mean, I was not a fan of turf. I just think I love playing on dirt, but I'm getting there.
You've come around.
I've started growing an appreciation towards turf,
And Karina, to give you some input onto this question too, how about that beautiful outfield fence?
Oh my gosh, I love when the fence is put up when the windscreen is on it. It just looks like Topa in her full glory and everything. And honestly, it's so nice because I remember my freshman year, doing warm-ups one game, and I, tripped over that, little rinky-dink fence that we have, twice trying to get a ball. And, as much as it sucks running into a fence, it feels nicer hitting that fence rather than hitting the ground and then your cleats getting all tangled up in plastic. No, the outfield definitely just looks pristine.
With all these new additions to Topa Field, Coach Iaquinto's done a wonderful job bringing in folks that she wants to be part of the program to throw out first pitches. One of them in particular is responsible for a lot of the improvements at Topa Field, and that's Dr. Michael Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just the best.
He really is. He does so much for us, academically, team-wise. He's just always there to, help support the team in any way he can. He's just, the nicest guy that just really wants to help.
And he just gets so excited, and I think the whole team just gets amped up every time we see him because he always has this big smile on his face, and he just wants to be involved in any way that he can, and we absolutely love him. He would drop anything for any of us, and we really do have such a good relationship with him, and we couldn't thank him enough for everything that he does.
So academically, we've got two students studying nursing and another student, Maddie, studying business administration. How has that changed for you from obviously a classroom setting, but also your days away from graduating? What do you see immediately after graduating within your major?
Matt, do you want to go first with the nursing world?
I mean, honestly, I think with all this stuff going on, we're not exactly graduating into the greatest economy right now. It might be a little hard to find jobs. I mean, I'm not really looking for anything right now. I think I'm just focused on, staying home with family. We've had a couple things that have gone on
at home, and right now I think we're all just focused on, being home. I'm trying to be there for my dad. I mean, finishing school, and then, I'm lucky enough with business, like, you can really do anything. Like, it's so broad. Everything's a business. So I'm not that worried about finding a job. A little stressed out considering what's going on, the craziness, but I know it'll all work out and fall into place. I think right now it's just important to focus on finishing up school, graduating, being with family, staying connected to friends as much as you can. But you guys, I know, probably they're going to be itching for nurses, so they're going to let you guys in right away.
Yeah, it's like scary to think about because nurses, among other healthcare workers, they're at the forefront, like they're on the front lines with all of this. So that's kind of like a daunting thing to think about as like a young person, like entering that sort of field. But I know Allie like can attest to this as well. Like we just really want to help people in any way that we can, and entering such like a great field with great opportunities to help people, especially where it really like counts. Like I know I'm excited for that. Allie has been getting job offers and stuff like that. So
it's definitely not what I think either of us or anybody could have anticipated the situation being come graduation time. Nobody thought that a pandemic was going to come sweep through during senior year, and it'll be the first experience that we kind of getting thrown into it. But honestly, I think that it'll be a very exciting time for us to be able to go in and learn and really be able to give whatever ability we can to the people that need help the most. And if we can work through a pandemic, what else? We can work through pretty much anything.
yeah.
And I think that this will be a really good opportunity for both of us and anybody else in this field to really be able to give a lending hand to help the people out that really need it.
It does seem so unreal, doesn't it?
Yeah, at this point, I just think we're living in an alternate reality.
It just seems like a dream. Like, not like a good dream, but not a bad dream. Like, just a weird dream.
April's been one long day, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I don't know what day it is.
Well, Allie, Maddie, and Karina, thank you for joining us on Seahawk Talk today on Monday, April 27. I know we're just 3 short weeks away from you receiving your degrees, and I want to congratulate you on that. I want to congratulate you also on an outstanding career as members of our Salve Regina softball team. Always remember, once a Seahawk, always a Seahawk.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Anytime.
Thanks for the opportunity to have us all on here.
That's Ali Guzmano, Maddie Machado, and Karina Bushy. I'm Ed Habashaw. Thank you for joining us today on Seahawk Talk. We'll be back on Tuesday with another lineup of great guests like our Seahawks softball players.